Before starting our main conversation, please introduce yourself for our viewers.
Well, my full name is Ahmad Jaweed Jamali, and I am an international teacher here in Tashkent. And apart from that, I am doing my PhD here in Tashkent. I'm an independent researcher in the domain of marketing, and yeah.
Which university are you doing your PhD research?
I'm affiliated to Tashkent State University of Economics, but prior to that, I did my master's in international business management at Westminster International University in Tashkent.
Let's talk about your teaching career in Uzbekistan. How is it going? How is teaching process? I mean, your teaching process.
So far, so good. I've been teaching English for more than a year. Since I was a teenage of 15 and 16, I started teaching. So I've been teaching actively. And I think the Uzbek students have a lot of potential, and I see a lot of, I'm really inspired and I'm really honored to be here to help the Uzbek students. And I think they will be able to achieve their goals with the potential that I see in them.
It's very great to listen such kind of, let's say, opinions about those big students. Thank you very much. Let's talk about your speaking mock exam with your student. Which band score did you give your student, firstly?
Well, after assessing my students, assessing the recording, and considering all four criteria that we have, of course, you know, fluency and cohesion, lexical resource, which is really important, and grammatical range and accuracy, as well as the pronunciation. The overall band score for our student is 7, and I think if I talk about all the elements one by one, what I felt was the student felt really comfortable in his skin as an interviewee, and he was speaking effortlessly, though he had some tiny grammatical mistakes. However, I think he is a student with very with a lot of potential, and I think he will be able to. He has the potential to score even much more if he understands the criteria. I watched the program that you had with Mrs. Farida, and I think she pointed out a really important thing for all the students, and I think it's really important for all the teachers to understand that. Both teachers and students need to look at that assessment criteria, because when you look at the assessment criteria, you understand what you are asked to do in the exam. So that's really crucial. So I advise all the Uzbek students to look at the assessment criteria, not only in terms of not only in the speaking element, but all the other elements.
You know, most of students think that fluency is more important for in the assessment criteria than the other kind of skills, like lexical resource or kind of pronunciation. Is that true? I mean, should learners pay attention to fluency or the other skills as well?
Well, I think students need to look at all the elements, as you know. Each and every element in the assessment criteria, for example, fluency and coherence, and all the other elements, they make up only 25% of the marking criteria. So I think it's crucial to be prepared for all the elements, not only fluency, because fluency is only one dimension of the case. You cannot score high if you are fluent. And that's the only thing that you have. Of course, I think if you look at it more scientifically in details, how can you be fluent if your grammar is not good? How can you be fluent if you are not confident about your pronunciation? So that is, I think, it's a hybrid combination of the many skills that you need to put all those pieces together in that puzzle. to gain, more higher scores.
What kind of tips or methods do you use with your students to improve their fluency?
Well, I think there are many methods to do with students who are not fluent. I think one problem with many of these students learning a new language, because I have been in that path as you know, I'm not a native English speaker, so we all are not native speakers. And we all have that fear. I think many of these students are not fluent, apart from problems in terms of like grammar or lexical resource. They are afraid to speak, they are shy to speak. So first thing first, I try to motivate my students and prepare them mentally, and that's how I start. And I think once you set that tune, even if you carry on your daily your daily activities in the class, the lesson plans, things will be fine. It takes time. You need to, of course, as I already told you, it's about, it's not a single element, but it's a combination, okay? So in order to gain fluency, students need to have, enough number of lexical resource. As you know, they need to have, personally, I believe they need to know at least 4,000 active words in order to be able to talk about IELTS. And I ran into many students who are beginner, elementary, and they ask for advices. Teacher, can I go for IELTS? And I run into such students very often. And I think if you want to do IELTS, first of all, you need to improve your general English. Personally, I don't want to disappoint anyone, but I don't want students to waste their money, hard-earned money. So I suggest them to go for IELTS preparation if they are at least minimum, if they are a pre-intermediate level student. I think that's a good place to start.
Thank you very much. It will be better if you give some advices for teachers, because in the teaching sphere, there are most of students can have a difficulty to push their students to speak in English language, because there are lots of shy students, or some students have a fear to speak in English language. How, in these situations, how can teachers help their students?
Well, I think Uzbek teachers are really amazing, and I'm really glad, I'm really honored to be here in Uzbekistan. And by the way, coming to Uzbekistan was one of the best decisions in my life. I would really say that. I'm planning to write a book of mine, my story, not now, perhaps after some years. I'll truly mention that. I think the Uzbek teachers are really, they have the capability, they are doing what they have to do. But as a friend, as a brother, as a little brother, if I want to give them an advice, is that it's really important to motivate students to eradicate that fear, that shyness beforehand. If they, that happens when you give students that confidence in the class prior to starting the daily lesson plans. That's what I do. When I enter my classes, I try to, it happens at the beginning of the semester usually. I make them believe and understand that they can do this, because if they cannot believe that they will be able to learn the language, I think it will be impossible to learn the language. When you believe something that you can, of course you can.
Thank you for your useful piece of advice. You can give us opinions about our program if you wish.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I think it's a great program, and I think it's an opportunity for students who cannot, who do not have good financial ability. I think it creates it creates the opportunity for them to sit at home. Perhaps they can have a cup of tea and watch your programs. It's all for free, right? And they can learn the most out of it. Thank you very much for having me here as well.
Thank you very much too for having a conversation with me.